Today we dive into 3 gut-wrenching betrayals: a lover's fatal lie, a best friend's hidden love, and a dad's new girlfriend trying to erase a teenager. Each story will pull back the curtain on moments when trust is shattered, emotions run raw, and the survivors find a way to rebuild. I'll walk you through the discovery, the signs that were missed, and the paths forward. Grab a tissue, settle in, and remember that you're not alone in feeling the sting of betrayal. I stared at the grainy photo on my phone, my ex-fiancé smiling, hand intertwined with a stranger's, 3 hours from our home. The image pulsed like a silent accusation, confirming the whispers I'd tried to ignore. My heart hammered, breath caught, and the room seemed to shrink around me. In that instant, every promise, every wedding ring she'd ever shown, turned to ash. The betrayal wasn't just infidelity, it was a public declaration that the love I'd built for 6 years had already died, leaving me drowning in disbelief and sorrow. We met at a friend's party, clicked instantly, and spent 6 years weaving a life together. 4 of those years were marked by an engagement, countless vacations, and plans for a shared future. To outsiders, we were the perfect couple, supportive and loving. We celebrated birthdays, moved in together, and even talked about children. The depth of our connection made the eventual betrayal feel like a personal apocalypse, because the foundation I'd trusted was built on years of shared dreams, not fleeting moments, and it all crumbled in a single photograph. Gradually, she started dressing more provocatively, returning home late, and claiming girls' nights that never included me. Her phone buzzed constantly, and she grew defensive when I asked simple questions. I noticed unfamiliar scents on her clothes, and a lingering sadness in her eyes whenever I tried to be affectionate. Yet I convinced myself that trust meant giving space, ignoring the growing emptiness. Those tiny red flags accumulated like storm clouds, but I mistook them for ordinary fluctuations in a long-term partnership, hoping love could weather any doubt. When the photo surfaced, I confronted her, demanding truth. She confessed, begged, and we argued until I finally pushed her out, calling her parents to explain. Days later, I learned she had taken her own life, leaving a desperate note. Grief and anger tangled inside me, but I chose therapy, leaned on friends, and redirected my energy into work and community service. I now honor her memory by speaking openly about betrayal, ensuring my future relationships are built on transparent communication and mutual respect, turning pain into purpose. From heartbreak to an unexpected confession, the next tale explores a friendship that teetered on the edge of love. It will show how years of loyalty can mask deeper feelings, and how a single brave admission can reshape everything. Stay with me as we unpack the delicate dance between platonic devotion and hidden desire, and discover what happens when the truth finally surfaces. We sat at our favorite brunch spot, the clink of cutlery punctuating his trembling voice. He confessed that after 12 years of friendship, he'd fallen in love with me, a truth he'd hidden for fear of destroying what we'd built. My stomach dropped, a mix of shock and relief flooding my senses. The confession hit like a wave, washing away years of platonic comfort and replacing it with a dizzying possibility. In that moment, the air seemed charged, and the ordinary restaurant transformed into a stage for our rawest emotions. We'd met in college, bonding over yoga classes and weekend brunches. Over 12 years, our friendship deepened, we celebrated promotions, supported each other through breakups, and became each other's chosen family. He was the one who'd pick up my groceries when I was sick, and I was the person he called at 2 a.m. for advice. The stability of our connection felt unshakable, making the eventual revelation feel like the floor disappearing beneath my feet. Our history felt both a blessing and a heavy weight to bear as we faced a new reality. He'd linger a little longer during hugs, his eyes would soften whenever I spoke, and he'd volunteer for every task that brought us closer. I noticed he'd smile at my jokes more than anyone else, and sometimes he'd stare at me, lost in thought. Yet I brushed these moments off as friendly affection, never daring to imagine a deeper meaning. The fear of losing our friendship kept me silent, turning genuine love into a quiet, unspoken ache that grew louder each day, echoing in every shared laugh. After his confession, we spent hours talking, laughing, and crying. We agreed to explore a romantic future while preserving the bond that saved us for years. We set boundaries, sought counseling, and now date with a foundation of trust no relationship can match. The journey isn't without challenges, but the honesty that once terrified us now fuels our growth. Today, we celebrate our love daily, grateful that a friendship survived the risk and blossomed into something deeper and brighter, proving love can evolve. Our final story shifts from adult romance to a teenage battle for safety against a manipulative new partner. It will reveal how a young person can stand up against an unwanted intrusion, reclaim their space, and find support in unexpected places. Brace yourself for a raw, heartfelt account of resilience and the power of family when a home no longer feels safe. I packed my bags, heart pounding, as my grandparents drove me away from the house where my dad's girlfriend had made it clear I didn't belong. She'd whispered threats, subtly pushing me out, treating me like an unwanted guest. The final straw came when she tried to lock me out of my own bedroom, forcing me to choose between staying silent or fleeing. I chose the latter, and the night I left, I felt both terrified and oddly liberated, stepping into an uncertain but safer future. My dad and I had a close bond growing up. After my mother left, he became my anchor. When he started dating a woman in her 40s, I tried to be supportive, hoping she'd become part of our family. At first, she seemed kind, but slowly she began to undermine my place, criticizing my habits, and asserting control over my daily routine. The home that once felt safe turned hostile, and I watched the father-daughter dynamic erode under her manipulative influence, leaving me feeling invisible and unheard. She'd comment on my school grades, rearrange my room without asking, and invite friends over while I was at work, making me feel invisible. Her passive-aggressive remarks about my clinginess grew louder, and she began to gossip with my dad about my immaturity. I tried to voice concerns, but he dismissed them as teenage drama. The constant tension, the feeling of being watched, and the sudden loss of privacy signaled that something was deeply wrong, yet I clung to hope for peace. After confronting my dad and hearing his denial, I left for my grandparents' house, where I finally felt heard. They welcomed me with open arms, offering stability and love. My dad has remained distant, but I've learned to set boundaries and prioritize my mental health. Today, I focus on school, hobbies, and the unwavering support of my grandparents. The experience taught me resilience. I now recognize toxic dynamics early and refuse to let anyone diminish my worth, choosing growth over fear. Betrayal cuts deep, but each story shows that healing is possible when we confront truth, lean on support, and choose self-respect. The pain may linger, yet we can turn it into strength and compassion for others walking the same path. What would you have done in their shoes? Drop your thoughts below, share your own experiences, and remember you are never truly alone in the journey toward recovery.